Welcome to another episode. Today's topic is control. Now, remember in the wealth vocabulary, I told you that I prefer control over own. And here's why. The wealthy do things different or opposite than most people. And while most people will want to own what they have, their property, for example, playing the game Monopoly, we want to own a property on the Monopoly board, the wealthy don't actually want to own anything. There's a very special, particular reason for that. Is because when you own something, it's like having a puppet and you're a puppeteer and you have strings hanging down. When you own something, people know that you're attached to it, know that it's associated with you. And the wealthy don't want that. And there's very particular reasons for that. So I'm actually going to explain that in a very interesting way today that actually relates to our virus pandemic. All right? So, very first thing, you have your health. So when you have your health, it's pretty much everything that you do on a regular basis to keep you healthy. And the wealthy want that for anything that's going on within their lives. So the way they actually do that when it comes to control is asset protection. So for example, when you have a property on the Monopoly board, the rich actually protect what they have. And they do that with something called debt and something called insurance. So they actually use insurance to protect whatever they have from loss. Believe it or not, debt also can be something that can protect an investment because debtors get paid before anyone else does. All right. Second, you have businesses. So when the rich actually decide to make any types of purchases, they purchase within one of their businesses. In doing so, they have another form of protection that protects against liability or litigation. So they don't have to worry about someone coming after them in particular. If anything, if they had property that was held within a business, that individual or that organization would have to go after the business instead of them individually. Third, you have personal in regards to business coordination, think of that relating to PPE. So there's something called a corporate veil. So think as far as a face mask that you wear, as far as being a veil, and that's essentially how the rich use businesses. They use that as a veil to protect themselves. Next, you have personal distancing. So what personal distancing is the rich don't own anything in their own name. If you've heard or listened to Warren Buffett, if you've heard or listened to Donald Trump, they don't own anything in their personal name. Why? Because if you try to sue them, you won't get anything. You have to go after what they actually have, what they actually own, what they control, not own. All right? And what that essentially looks like is think of trust. All right? Think of trust as far as a trust fund or something that's, let's say, not associated with someone. There's no strings attached there, but they are still receiving the rewards of being in a beneficial position. All right. And think of that as social distancing. So the rich actually incorporate social distancing, but they don't do it necessarily in the same way we think of the coronavirus pandemic. All right. They do that in regards to what they have and it not actually being tied with them personally. All right. So that's how they execute social distancing. Fourth, we have a power team. So what a power team does, they're the group of professionals or specialists that the rich actually use to help make them make smart decisions. And these are the professional resources that are available for them. So when you play the game Monopoly, it's just you and you're making all the decisions. Well, the rich, they have a whole team letting them know what strategy to pick, what's going to be most advantageous, how do you pay the least amount of taxes, all of those things. So a power team is critical for being able to do what you want to do as far as creating wealth and building that. And then last but not least, and again, these are in no particular order, is the intelligence of the individual themselves. So when I speak of intelligence, I'm not talking about the intelligence that you scored when you actually took a test. Of course, there are some tests, but I'm talking about over 4 categories. The first is emotional. So your emotional intelligence, it's how do you control your emotions? And you make decisions without your emotions interfering with those decisions. So in other words, you have to be in control. Next, I have intellectual intelligence. And intellectual intelligence is what you normally think of as how smart is someone. Well, believe it or not, emotional intelligence is more important than intellectual intelligence. But you still want to be at a point where you can be educated, that you can think on a higher level than maybe you currently do now. Just in regards to being able to take information in and using, let's say, your imagination to connect the dots. Third, you have spiritual. So in other words, do you have faith in what you do? Believe it or not, your belief and your energy and anything that you do has an incredible amount of power as far as what your end result's going to be. So you're the type of person that's like, we'll see what happens, or are you the type of person that's saying to themselves, certainty with you? And then last but not least, you have mindset. And mindset is just how you think and your ability to reprogram yourself on how to think. Believe it or not, this day and age, all the information that comes to you, especially over TV, social media, whatever it is, they're slowly programming you. So the question is, are you being programmed, or are you decisions you actually make? So all of those intelligence aspects come together for a bit more about control. And remember, you want to control, not own. And if you want to escape the monopoly, come by, visit us at escapethemonopoly.com. And if you're looking to figure out some other aspects of how to hope to catch you on the next episode. Have a good one.